Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Georgia Street Fighter Scene Community Podcast Discussion Group. I am your moderator for this event this evening, Shadow Ace on the mic. And of course, I always want to first thank SirRetro for agreeing to host this discussion. The reason I have assembled you all here this fine evening is to get your views and opinion on the Street Fighter 5 Georgia scene and just Street Fighter 5 in general. The game has been out for about 6 years now, and that's quite a long time before the next installment drops for Street Fighter 6. And I know each of you may hold different views and opinions towards the game and the community in general. And this is just an opportunity to express yourselves in a constructive manner. But let's start off first by introducing our panel for this tonight's evening. I'll go first. It's the Shadow Ace. I'm a player, commentator, TO here, part of the Data FGC local scene here in Georgia. So if you guys know about some Data FGC, I am one of the members of that founding organizations. And yeah, now I'm into doing podcast here with my good host, co-host here, SirRetro. SirRetro, talk to the good people.
Howdy, everyone. This is SirRetro, the tournament organizer of the Middle Georgia area. Been around for about 5, 6 years. Mainly head of the Reboot Retrocade gaming crew. So definitely all around player, jack of all trades. Um, of course, I also do some training and run sessions, and also the head of the Reboot Run It series, where we hold exhibitions for various games and just showcase talents of players all around the state and even beyond. So definitely, also the editor and producer of the podcast. Of course, I make sure I work on behind the scenes, make sure everything goes smooth as possible. Yeah, thank you for Shadow Ace for having me be part of the team. So I'm looking forward to having this episode go really smooth.
All right, always, man, always. Can't thank you enough for everything that you contribute to making this podcast and everything that you contribute to the local scene down there in the Macon area, Macon, Georgia area.
Hmm.
So if you are in the Macon, Georgia area and you just want to check out some FGC action down there, this is the guy you talk to. We may have some players who are just trying to look for games in the area, and this man that's running this production behind the broadcast, he's the one you have to speak to. So we'll get you guys the good details on where you can catch them at later on. But first, I want to introduce our panel for this evening. Our two special guests for today for episode number 6. It's going to be first off. Let me introduce Knowledge ReUp. Knowledge ReUp, yo, Knowledge. What's going on, bro? Talk to the good people.
Not much was going on, everybody. The podcast. Um, Most of y'all might know me. Most of y'all might not. I'm not that popular, but you know what I'm saying. Your resident Cammy player, resident Cammy player. Semi-retired, semi-not retired, but we're getting back into it. I'm excited for this new season that just released. Everybody's looking gross. The whole cast is crazy, except for Cammy, but that's another story. We'll get to that later on the podcast. But happy to be here. Happy to talk some Street Fighter 5 and let's get it going.
All right. And next up, our other guest here is the champ, man. The champ is here. The champ himself of the Street Fighter Five one more round series. Our first champ here, yo, Alex Dot Dots. What's going on,
What's
Alex?
going on?
Talk to the good people, man.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Most of y'all might know me by Alex or Alex dot dot. And like Shadow Ace just said, the winner of the one more round. I honestly just got lucky, guys. I'm not the champ.
Look at that, man. God, you trying to be humble, man. Nah. You stay with your chest out here. You worked hard to put out some good Honda and Blanca content out there for the world to know. Keep people on their toes. Keep them honest to let them know what time it is. Don't sleep on these obscure characters. You know what I'm saying? The characters that you might not see out here doing it in the grind. Just because they might not be out there like that, they out there. So shout outs to
Hey,
you, man, for that W.
hey, you got a point there, man.
Yeah, man. You can't sleep on nobody in this season, man. That one player that might come through out of nowhere and just like tear the whole bracket up with this character that nobody plays. Come on, man. Come on, yo. Yeah, y'all gotta wake up, man. Eyes open. 40 plus characters in this game. A lot of meta, a lot of history going on. So you can't sleep on nobody, man. Everybody can be a threat, man. It just takes that certain special player to just make that happen, man. But yeah, man, thank you all. Thank you guys, you all for joining us today on the sixth episode of the series. Knowledge ReUp, Alex and SirRetro. Last time we had Poke Chop and Nice One give their take on the Street Fighter V community and FGC beta in general. So if you missed out on that broadcast, you can always go back and check that episode out, episode 5, on Reboot Retrocade Gaming on the YouTube channel. And yeah, man, that has the other episodes too as well. And also want to do just a quick little giveaway, just a little quick little advertisement on this.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let me just let me reward our faithful listeners out there who've been rocking with us since the beginning. So yeah, there's a quick question, quick trivia question. All right, so in episode 5, Poke Chop mentioned that one of his first final round. What was Poke Chop's first final round? You gotta go back to episode 5 to listen to it. All right, so you gotta skim through all of that just to get to the answer. But to our faithfuls, if you guys know the answer, please tag me on Twitter at Mind of ShadowAce and put the hashtag SF5GA podcast, and I might get a little something for you. All right, so again, first person to give me that answer, tag me in. You guys are good to go. All right, so let's dive right into this podcast that we have here today. So last time I seen you guys was like a few weeks ago at the Street Fighter Five One More Round, which was a big event, man, a big event for the Atlanta FGC scene out there for esports. So how did y'all enjoy the event? How did y'all enjoy it? Knowledge.
Oh, the event was crazy. It was beautiful to see actually a lot of new players that I didn't recognize in the bracket. We had a couple of OGs that came. KB came through. Joel showed up. Haven't seen that man in a long time. Shin Phoenix showed through. But like, I think the best part about it was the new players that came through. Got to chop it up with one of my opponents after the match, and asking some questions about his character, my character. It was a breath of fresh air for that, because like you don't get that a lot lately. So I hope we can continue it. Supposedly let's have another one next month coming up. But yeah, man, it was great to be out there and play offline.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, man. Like over 2 years. It's been like over 2 years since we had a big Street Fighter Five event. Go down offline. Just that size. That size. I mean, Reboot, Retrocade. They run some Street Fighter events out there in the making scene, and they just recently had the Cherry Blossom Festival that saw the return of Terrence. So it was me and Terrence at grand finals, and we had a crazy set. So that was a good time as well. So, but as far as that amount of entrants that entered, that was kind of the highest that we had for a while. Outside of that, oh God, I cannot think of that tournament that 4H Tim won. Well, the Southeast Mayhem. Yeah. Southeast Mayhem.
Southeast Mayhem,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
The one in
outside of
Athens, right?
no, not in Athens. It was in
Tifton, Georgia.
Tipping. Tipping. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Super down south.
Yeah,
It
super,
was
super
exactly.
duper down south. You seeing
Tim got that
suspect
plaque.
signs. You see his suspect signs on your way down there, man. But yeah, all the way down out there, it tipped it. So this was kind of like one of the biggest, like number wise for events in the entrance. And again, we saw a lot of new players. We got Black End Galaxy living here now in Georgia. So I mean, there's plenty of room for growth and development, within the scene for these new guys. I mean, I've never seen, a couple of those faces. I'm like, yo, what's this? What was this? Yo, how long have we been away? But yeah, man, that's definitely much needed here. And then yo, Alex, how about you, man? How'd you enjoy the event?
Man, it was mad fun, man. It felt back like I was back in GB, like the Gwinnett Brawl, like the weeklies. You know how we had people show up. It
Hmm.
felt kind of like that, man. I had a lot of fun. You know who I saw there? I saw Fierce. Remember Fierce? Um, from he entered that one tournament, that online tournament.
Colleen, the
Yeah, Colin. Yeah, he was there.
yeah, the Colleen player. Yeah, Fierce. Yeah, Fierce said he was coming through. So Fierce lives in Georgia, and then for those who may not be familiar with that, Fierce entered a online event um, for the Untamed Gaming series, and he managed to get, I think, second place.
Yeah,
Second,
he
I think
he
he
made
got.
it pretty far up. Yeah.
Yeah, he made. Yeah, and I think that was his debut in the tournament with Colleen, and then to come to find out, this man lives in Georgia. So I was like, oh, word. It's like, yo, he's gonna check out the. He'll be at one more round. I said, okay, word. I bet. That's what's up. So I didn't know. I didn't know Fierce lived in Georgia, but now that we know, we got Fierce, we got Black and Galaxy, so we got some players here now, man. And we need to, further and nurture their development and their growth in their careers. So, yeah, hopefully we again, May 15th for the next edition of the one more round to get these players out there, and we might even see some more new players come back through. I can't wait for that, man. I can't wait for the second sequel. Of course, CEO coming up too as well. So this is a perfect chance for people to get offline and run these sets. We had like what 20 plus entrants, which was honest. At first, it was how
Was
much?
it 23?
It was 28, wasn't it? Oh no, the bonus was 25.
20.
So we had 23. The
Yeah,
bonus
we
was
had
supposed to be 23.
23.
Yeah, we had
Yeah,
23 because we were two short down. Because
Nice,
remember,
the
nice.
bonus.
KB was trying to look for two more people. So yeah, it was 23.
Okay, we take those. We'll take it. We'll
That's,
take
Yeah,
it.
that's
It was
that's a
pretty
good
big
big
though
though.
because
number.
that was a good number.
That's still pretty
Oh,
big. Yeah, it's
yeah.
23 people that showed up.
We'll take that any day. And we had 20 plus, and that honest. At first, I was surprised, man, because I thought it was curtains for the offline scene here in Georgia for a minute. And people weren't traveling, and the spirit was kind of dying, ever since the pandemic began.
Yeah.
So it was, and then Gwinnett Brawl shut down, so that was another thing
Uh,
on top of that. So I was like, dang, it might be GG's, man. And and then there was a lot of like meta developed behind that. Like, yo, I felt like people would only, show up. Certain people were out there, and I don't know, But that was back then. We're gonna focus on what's happening in the present here. But yo, yeah, let's get down, and I got specific questions to ask each one of you gentlemen right here, and I'll start off with you. You know what I'm saying? Because no offense, knowledge, but Alex Dot Dot is the current champ. You know what I'm saying? So
Somehow.
he the
Now,
current he the current champ right now for the one more round, man. He held it down over 20 plus entrants,
we
and
gotta work on his selfies though if he's gonna be the champ though, because
you
oh
guys got
damn,
my middle school selfies. Bro. That
he
was
got the
funny.
middle school,
Yeah, that
the
was
middle
middle
school
school selfies,
selfies,
bro. I
yo.
was like, bro, nah, y'all tripping.
Oh my gosh. Right, so Alex, being what I'm saying, Mr. Hand, I got hands himself, aka the hustle man, aka if you don't got it, I got it. So get it while the getting's good. What's going on, Alex? What's going on,
Oh
man?
man, I had a blast, man. I'm still thinking about it. Like, uh, shout out to Milo Mance, man. He hasn't been playing, but it turns out he has. Shoot,
Oh
he.
shoot, man,
You know,
Milo is
you,
ridiculous.
you ever get that feeling that when you don't play Street Fighter or a game in general, and you come back like weeks later, and then you're amazing for some reason? Is that just me? Like,
I
have
I
you guys
think
had
it's
that?
like I think it's like
that's fair.
muscle. I think that's just muscle memory, right? Like you
I
just
think
You're right.
so.
You're right.
it's conditioning.
You know what was funny though? Like when I was playing Middlemans in grand finals, and then Joel was screaming in my ear, that threw me off, bro. I mean, it was funny, but yeah, that threw me off. It was. I
Cause,
have to go
cause
back and rewatch that. Yo, that shit was funny.
Yeah, because it's been like it's been long since that type of environment.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you go offline and it's different than when you're online, you're in the comfort of your own home or whatever. You don't got people like a big crowd around you, watching you play. But when you got somebody that's heckling you in the audience, yo man, you suck, you ass, and this, that, and the third. It's like, bro, that adds to the mental stack of you playing because you know if it was a lesser player, they probably could have popped off, or a situation could have happened. Hey man, don't be talking while I'm playing. This that, and it could have escalated. But the fact that you remain, you kept your cool and you just kept playing, and you didn't let it get to you too much. That's what's up, man. And then going back into that environment of just playing offline, yeah, yeah. You
big
had your
difference,
nerves,
right?
Joe. You
Right.
gained your composure. You got your
Big
composure.
difference to coming from online to offline. Definitely big difference.
And then also, yeah, you know what I'm saying, your performance, it sparked some fire in some plays, like mainly Joel. Okay, you know what I'm saying. We not gonna sugarcoat. You know, Joel was definitely wasn't your biggest fan that night, but it's just the type of competitive nature that he got as a player, And we actually broke it down after the tournament ended for one more round, like why Alex dot dot deserved to win. I'm like, bro, he deserved to win. Give it to him, man. Get that man his flowers, yo. It's like, no, man. You gimmicky, gimmicky gameplay, and all this other stuff. I'm like, bro, get all of that out of here. The job is to get the W by
That's
any
right.
means necessary, yo.
Hey, I will say something though. That
Talk to him.
this should encourage everybody in Georgia. If they don't want to see another Blanco win in the next monthly, everyone needs to come out. If you don't
Uh-oh.
want to see Blanca on grand finals again, everyone needs to come out.
Fair
He said, "Stop
enough.
streaming,
Fair
bro." He
enough.
said, "Get off that stream.
I'm just letting you guys know right now.
Get off that stream." He said, "Come out in person, bro. Come out, bro. We only 30, 40 minutes away from from the venue or something. Yo, come over here. Yo, get out for the rank. Get out of ranked and get over here.
All
All
right.
right."
Here's my 2 cents on
Plus,
this.
you're gonna have another Blanca stream. I don't think no one wants to see that.
Nobody
But
wants to see another. Oh, go ahead, go Reg.
Yep. No, you're right. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because of the times he came down to our end, and we were like, okay, this Blanca player plays Honda though. Don't forget about that. But the Blanca though, and every time I turn around, like, yep, he's gonna use that Blanca. All of our players is like, this man,
I
like,
told Alex to come in.
I
See, they
mean,
weren't used to playing a macho. They weren't used to the
mhm.
character. So
Look,
unless they had somebody to train against, to fight the character, they were in trouble.
hmm
They were in trouble. So hey, man, you gotta do your homework, man. It's 40 plus characters in this game, so you gotta know a little something about each of them. If you want to, because you never know who your opponent's gonna pick. So that's just one thing to take to the lab there. But yeah, how did it feel about like how did you feel playing offline and getting that competitive environment? And what was your game plan throughout the tournament?
Honestly, I just came to chill. I wasn't really expecting to winning, but I mean, you always should go into the tournament with a mindset of winning. But I just came to chill, and then out of nowhere, I was sitting in grand finals already, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Offline feels amazing, and it's just an addiction. You get addicted to offline, and you want some more. So
And exactly, we got another one coming through.
oh yeah, it's an
We got,
retro reboot gaming having a tournament on. Is it next week? Kirk.
so it's actually it's on the same day as you guys. So that's the thing. So I think it's May 14th, and I think I saw the announcement that is on the same day. Um, However, though, I will say that because here's the thing: is the fact that we're having two Street Fighter tournaments happening on the same time, or even just the fact we have multiple Street Fighter 5 tournaments, that says a lot because like the game can't be considered dead in our scene.
that's
That is
true.
true.
That's true.
But
I
yes,
I will agree with
it's May 14th. I think it's the same day as the one more round tournament. Either way, if you guys are in Atlanta and you want to take out Alex, go for it. Hey, if you're in Middle Georgia and you don't feel like traveling so far, we got one here for you. So yeah.
See, that's a good thing. It covers both regions, right? You can go to whichever one is closer. Save up on a little bit gas because gas is still crazy. So, yeah, that's definitely a good thing, man. And it kind of reminded me. It kind of took me back to the olden days when tournaments were ran on the same day. And it was always like some little thing going on with that. But we look at it different now. We in a different mindset. So we was like, yo, it's go to whichever one is more convenient for you or works out for you better. So yeah, man, big shout outs to Retro Reboot Gaming and their staff up there, and they're doing they're as their KOF 15. So if you're a KOF 15 player, they also their tournament is what sponsored by SNK, right, for their
Yes,
tournament program.
which is a huge thing. So yeah, like I said, I applied for it, and they emailed me in a few days like, "Hey, here's your stuff," and I'm like, "Oh." Cool.
Wow.
And as you know, on Facebook and Twitter, wherever they are on their social media, they say, "Hey, we are supporting this tournament with our esports program." And I was like, and the owner of the arcade bar was like, overwhelmed and thrilled. So, but no, it says a lot about how, and of course, I said, of course, referring back to the topic and everything like that, is if example of the developers and companies is supporting the community. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Big congratulations again for gaining that support from SNK themselves. So definitely, guys, if you're a KOF 15 player or you play any other games, if you're in that area, go ahead and definitely hit them up, check them out, and be a part of that magic, man. But knowledge, that man, knowledge, knowledge. You
Yes.
you yes sir, yes sir. The newest Georgia TO. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Since
I got
that
that
bit,
title now.
yeah, you got that title, bro. Since that
Oh
bit
man.
moved to KC,
Hey,
man. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge been coming through on booking sets on his that battleground series. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for joining us, man. This question
Enough.
this is actually an interesting question for you. And this question is more on the parental side of competing, right? Being that you're a dad, how do you manage time to play, or what is the routine for managing to play at your level of skill?
Man, let me tell you. What's my level of skill though? My level of skill is not that high at the moment because I was just about to say that like when I got into when being a parent in this situation is very tough because you was at a certain level before like you become a parent, and then when you have to like push aside and manage being a parent and playing a game and also working and being married and all this other stuff, it's really hard. So you have to actually make blocks. So like what I try to do is I try to set aside, okay, I'm gonna play this game 5 hours a week, period. But when I play the game, I have to like really play it. I can't be messing around. I can't be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna wake up DP and have fun. Like if I'm gonna train for this game, I have to train for it. So every ranked match, I'm playing like it's first of two grand finals, GV grand final, because I have to make the most of my training time as possible. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, like you gotta take the game as serious as possible. And like me, I want to play multiple games at that, so it's even harder because I want to get into Guilty Gear as well. And so like I mean, it's a tough thing, but it's possible. It's very much possible. So um yeah, man, just every match you have to treat it as like a training match. You can't just play around with it. You can't have as much fun as the game you really used to have when you were younger. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's what
when
it
when
comes
we
down
when
to.
we younger, we had a little bit more creative
Man,
freedom as far as
telling
we spent the time.
you can't let the game get to you as much as you did when you was younger. Like you get mad and everything like that. But once you get mad, you lose the opportunity to learn. So
Hmm.
I can't get
Okay.
upset at the match. I have to have like a fish memory. You know what I'm saying? Like it got to be out my psyche in 9 seconds or less. Like okay, I lost whatever. Next match, I got to start learning this match as soon as possible. So yeah, I don't have the time to play around and like be upset about a game anymore. Like
I got you. I got you. Okay. And I know we got several family men out there, and it varies from pop to pop. But this is just good to know for our listeners who may have a family or maybe starting a family soon, wondering how much the schedule would have to change in order for you to still be a competitive player within the scene. And you pretty much just answered that, being as like the time that you do have, and that the time that you have to play the game, that you're committed to being the best at it, right? Like you realize like you can't waste time goofing around or sandbagging and this, that, and the third. You have to go in, you know, running. You got to go in headstrong, knowing that hey, I got to use it. I got this time, this minimal pocket, a window to play, and I got to use it as much as I can.
exactly.
So yeah. So okay, I respect that. I respect that. And Street Fighter, the one more round event, it showed us there are people out there that are still playing in this scene. I mean, 20 plus interest. I keep saying it, but that's huge. That's a big deal for us here, man. Um, plus there were new names and new faces, especially on the younger side. So we need to, keep the fire going for them to keep their interest alive in the game. Because if there's no tournaments, they're gonna go to a scene. They're gonna go to another game that maybe that has that huge community growth. Perfect example is Tekken. Tekken scene here is absolutely ridiculous, full of monsters. Hell, Genghis Khan just got what, top 8 at Texas Showdown for
Yep.
for being in Tekken, man. And that 4-4 esports, that was a breeding ground for the Tekken community. So a lot of their players leveled up ridiculously, and they have numerous accomplishments. So whenever they go out to an event, they're going to do damage in the bracket easily because of how strong and tight knit that scene is. And we need that same energy here. I know it's difficult. I know there's some other factors that could be preventing that from happening. um Actually, we could discuss that. That's gonna be a little spicy, but we're gonna get to that later on. But whoo, I don't know if the world ready for it. But anywho, um, yeah. So with that being said, I think that's the type of environment that the players would need here in order to foster and just get stronger, for Street Fighter Five. Because if there's no one telling them what they're doing wrong, if there's no one talking to them after the match, um, I mean, they're just gonna be like stuck, like, hey, you beat this person in casuals. Maybe you can go to that person and talk to them, tell them what they did wrong, or tell them what they could work on to help them out a bit better. And that's what I want to see, man. That's what I want to see. Let's make sure we can nurture them for Street Fighter 6, because again, that's going to be the magnum opus for our project, for our players. Get them a good foundation in 5, and then let them see how they do in 6. But being an older player, we come from two different worlds. So yeah, we definitely need to foster their growth for sure, man. But let me ask you guys this other question. Like, how do you feel about the last patch for Street Fighter Five? Like, is the game in its most balanced state that you feel, Alex?
I think it made things really interesting. Like, for example, Honda, if he does that command grab, you can do hands now. That's crazy. It just made the game more fun, basically. Um, it's definitely. I had a problem with the game being too repetitive, where you see the same combo over and over. Maybe it's just me, but that was my issue with the game. But now I'm seeing that you could do this, you could do that. So, I mean, I'm feeling the patch, and they
Okay.
nerfed King, so.
Yeah, that's yeah, that a lot of characters got some new tools, some new combos and stuff, and new routes to help them out in their offense, which is definitely much, much, much needed. And just a slight tweak or so could, change the character dramatically. Like, I feel that Rose is untapped potential. Like, I feel that Rose can definitely do it in a major, especially. I think she can win a major, man. I think Rose can win a major, but you don't see people talking about her. You don't see people, you saw, I mean, you may have saw one or two Rose players during Texas Showdown, like during the stream, but I feel like she's a very, very strong character now because of the changes that she got that helps her out in her kit. But yeah,
You think she
what
slept on?
about you now? Huh?
You think she slept on right now?
I think she slept on, man. I think she slept on. I think if the Rose main enthusiast, like if they, I guess what Filipino man was the only one that was Filipino man, and dang, who else was using Rose like that?
That's how you know she slept on, because you don't know. Not a lot of people use
Exactly.
her. I think
Exactly.
you're right
Like,
about that,
I
though.
mean, you have nephews using there as
nephew
well.
was using Rose.
Nephew uses roles as well. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna fully switch, with Colleen,
Okay.
but he does his roles as well. And you got the alpha, Punk out there using roles as well. You're gonna see some roles.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's yeah. I think definitely Rose will be a character that can catch a lot of people off guard, for sure. Especially with this new patch, I think she's really strong. But how do you feel about it, Knowledge? How you feel about the patch?
Oh, it's great. Um, like Alex was saying, they definitely gave a lot of characters a lot more tools. Game's more fun. We definitely gonna start seeing more V shift and the V system utilized a lot more. especially in an offline environment, because we didn't really get that. Because when V Shift was introduced, that's when like COVID kind of hit. We didn't really get to see it, but now we're gonna get to see people showcase their V Shift shenanigans and everything like that. As far as my character, I want to say she's actually not bad as far as Cammy and everything like that. Her biggest nerf was every character got a buff, and every character has something new. So I think that's her biggest nerf, but she's pretty much the same character. Yeah, I can't whiff as much, but if you whiff with Cammy, then I mean, you deserve to get whiff fun. It's whatever. But this patch is, I think this patch is gonna bring it back. On top of it being the last year, quote unquote, of this game, a lot of people's gonna go hard for it because everybody wants to be the last champion. You can't take that away from nobody, right? Like you the last champion of a game that's dying, you win. There's no next time. There's no tomorrow. So yeah, we're definitely gonna see a lot of influx with this game this year. But the patches, so far I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yep, and there's still a couple of things that not everybody have seen just quite as yet. There was an interesting sequence when Sean was playing, or Texas Showdown. Sean was playing against Nigel's Bison, and it was such a weird interaction. It's like, okay, Nigel did Psycho Blast, and then I guess did the V skill teleport to like I
Oh
guess go behind and create
yeah,
some kind of mix
that
up, and she kind of like to the other side or something. I'm like, yo, what in the world?
that what
I'm like, yo, what just
I
happened?
remember. Yeah, that was weird. That was so weird.
Yeah, I was like, yo, okay, that's new. And then I saw then it was a clip on Twitter about like Alex being able to do. He had hit Oral from behind with like this the burning hammer, like his command normal. And I'm like, yo, how did that happen? Like, what in the world? So
Yeah.
it's definitely some stuff that's people still figuring out about this patch here, man. But I think it's a fun patch, man. I think it's fun. I think despite Cammy getting the 900 health, what I'm saying, she's still Cammy at the end of the
Man,
day. You just got to be a little
that
bit more
hurts too.
careful.
That
That's
definitely
it.
hurts
Nah,
too. It's
that's
not,
a
it
Kuma
wasn't just
now.
the health. She got the stun too, man. Like, dang, I couldn't give me one. I
You
had
should
to
just
get
switch to a Kuma at this point, bro.
Yeah, they made her they
Listen,
made her
man.
Akuma, man. They show her
Akuma,
pressure.
Akuma got damaged. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
gosh.
Fair,
Yo,
fair,
yo,
fair.
Shadow, have you been doing new things with Ed, Shadow?
Oh,
Outside of just my EX knuckle, and then I could just do a little bit more of the V skill snatching. Now I don't have to be afraid. Um, yeah, it's got I think it just got like one frame less on startup now, so I can kind
Mm-hmm.
of do a little faster.
I
But outside of that, yeah, he's still good.
no,
actually,
I
Ed
can
is eating. Ed is eating. That knuckle after, because that confirm is cupcakes. Like, let's be real. You got like what? How many hits to confirm with the knuckle?
That's
That's a cupcake
crazy.
wait.
performance.
You go
it's
No,
EX.
I can testify
cupcakes, yo.
because of the
And it's like this corner carry. It's crazy.
yeah, that actually the recent exhibition that we did with Shadow played against Bundleben. Out the more times I saw him use the V skill, I'm like, oh wow, it's a lot more he's using it now, and I'm like, yeah, that one frame makes a difference.
It does.
It's so effective. It's so effective.
Yeah, and then his standing light kick, it does less pushback now, and they increased his throw range too to have like I think it's like Urians or Bisons now with his throws. So, it looks pretty delicious, man. But we'll see what happens. But again, like the other characters got tweaks and tools to their gameplays now, so it's a lot more developing here, man. So I think we're gonna see a lot more variety. I mean, hell, we had Brian F. In top 8 with the oral, right? The oral combos were looking ridiculous. So we know
That
that
was
oral
beautiful.
now has potential.
Still don't know how to
Yeah.
fight that character. That character's crazy.
Yeah, the oral got potential to do some damage, man. And then you got Blanca out here. Look at it. Look at Blanca out here. Double
Yo,
jeopardy and people and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, look at Blanca. You know what I'm saying? So look, hey,
didn't Blanca Rose made it pretty far in the bracket in Texas Showdown?
yeah, I think they got top 16. They were in top
Yeah,
16. Yeah, with Blanca,
but not
the
top 8.
lone Blanca out there.
but not top 8.
Nah, they ain't get top 8. They ain't get top. They ain't the top 8. But hey, man, that's just goes. Yeah, again, that's just the meta of the game. That's how it is right now. So we'll see how it plays out, man. So that was very interesting tournament, man. Very interesting tournament. So we got to see a lot of different characters and stuff. So speaking of interesting tournament, speaking of tournaments in general, all right, this is where it gets a little spicy. All right. So, Team Spooky, right? You know what I'm saying? Spooky stepped down from running tournaments. I need to hear you guys' thoughts about it. Are you up to date on the situations?
Yeah,
Both Alex and Knowledge?
For the most, yeah.
I got
Yeah.
the basic
Reg?
general situation of what's going on.
Okay. And Retro, same with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I've been watching. Shoot, I caught the tail end of his speech about what's going on, and then I
Mm-hmm.
went through the whole. Yeah, whoo boy.
So this is where where we get a little spicy here, man. All right. So in case for those who may not have known, he announced during Street Fighter stream that he was done running tournaments, right? So there was a lot of elements that built up to that. He had planned to retire later at a later date, but I think this one particular incident involving Texas players being allowed to enter pushed his decision up for him to do it much sooner. He had allowed two Texas players, Brian H. and Twisted Rivera, to enter, but the others were barred from that. So let me start off by first, as a TO, coming from the TO perspective, SirRetro, what are your thoughts on the situation?
So I had to actually go back to like the previous scenarios when stuff like that had happened to kind of get a full story because at one point, for what it looked like, it was like the guy who was a TO who banned the other players and who got the backlash. It was like, oh well, the TO is being mean. It was his fault. You don't understand. That's not fair. Blah blah blah. And I was like, well, okay. And then at the other end, you have the other argument, like, hey, this guy was doing this job for like a long time. He been enduring this for so long, so it's not fair to him to go through this. TOs go through this and that. So I have to really look at the whole thing to understand, and not just one side of the story. So as a TO, it saves a lot because for us, we do go through a lot of stuff like that, where we have to have some type of restrictions or some type of rules. There may be a few exceptions, but to endure that, the backlash of it, it's overwhelming and it's frustrating. And I had to side with the TO in the end. Now, if he had expressed it differently about how he felt about, hey, you guys shouldn't approach me like this, whatever, how he expressed it about it, it could have been different. But I understood the frustration when he was like, you know what, screw this, I'm, whatever. And for Team Spooky's decision, I had to, comply with that because I'm like, yeah, he tried to do his best to keep things as fair as possible. Yeah, the few exceptions happen, whatever, and the players may not or did not agree with that, which I understand. No, it may seem fair in their end, but at the same time, it's like, hey, if we can do it in this way, this is the way we can do it. Go with it. And it was where I'm like, yeah, I won't say he wasn't out of line. It's probably he was pissed off, and he like, no, you done or whatever. For the TO who was overseeing the situation. And yeah, it was tough because like as a tournament organizer, you want to do what's best as possible to have some type of rules. In a sense, you also have to establish restrictions because a lot of the stuff influences and a lot of like factors of what determines the best smooth possible ways for a tournament to go through. You have to do the best to abide by the rules, and not everyone's going to agree to it. And if you decide to say, hey, well, maybe let this be an exception right here, let this happen here, you know, no, it can, you're obligated, you have that power to do so in a sense, and have the rules. But people don't agree. The way to address it is not easy. because unfortunately, with the history with the Team Spooky thing was that people did try to lie about their location, IPs, whatever, and they tried to get into the tournament and so forth and whatnot. And you had to do your best to try to oversee, make sure everything they're not sneaking in or whatever. And you have to say, you know what, no, stop that, whatever, or cut you out. So knowing the whole story, yeah, it was really just like the thing of both sides, because you want to not conform, but you want to understand and reach out to understand how the players feel about the situation because they don't know a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But it's at the same time, is where it's like, hey, y'all guys don't know what we have to go through behind the scenes. We have to make sure this is prepared this way, this way, this way. The reason why this happened, whatever this happened, why we do this, is because this is may be the reason. If you don't like it, no, we understand. I'm sorry, but at the same time, it's like as if we are the ones that enforce it, we have to say, we have to probably address it in a way that's assertive and not aggressive or like, coming out as mean or elitist or whatever. So it was like a rock and a hard place. So I understood why they acted the way they acted for the TO to, go out and ban them and, go at them like that. So, but at the same
Yeah,
time, it's like, yeah. Whew.
yeah. It's a lot, man. Being a tournament organizer, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it can outside of just men, men and spooky. I think men was like Tio and everything. I don't know if they had any other anyone else helping them outside of just running the brackets for the Street Fighter event that was on Wednesdays. But I think for the most part, it was just men by himself, right? Doing all the TOing and behind the scenes
Yeah.
and running connection tests and checking validation for results, DQing people, people again, like you said, they trying to sneak
Crazy.
in to the bracket,
That's
man. And it's just, over time, a lot of that can just add up, man. Like it can actually stress you out. So it is unfortunate the way some certain situations were handled as far as players go. As far as like players were asking questions, but I guess they got timed out or banned from the server, and stuff like that. And then people took it to social media, and it kind of became a thing from there. And I don't support this event, and it's just a lot, man. It's a lot of red tape behind just running an event, man. And it's not easy, man. Being a tournament organizer is not easy because you're forced in situations to make a decision. And remember, as a TO, you're voluntarily agreeing to deal with public. You're dealing with the public. You're dealing with people, right? You may not know this person. You don't know how their personality is. You don't know how they're going to react in certain situations. And you want to try your best as a TO to make sure your event runs as smooth as possible. But there are going to be situations where that's not going to happen or that won't be available as far as, hey, this situation happened and it wasn't to my liking. So now I'm going on social media to, express how I feel about your event. And, now your name is bad mouthed out there and, people might try to dog pile onto it and stuff like that without actually understanding the situation. And then by then you got to do damage control and stuff like that. And it's a lot, man.
yeah.
But from the player's perspective, from knowledge, what are your thoughts about the situation?
Okay, if I'm a little scrambled, I apologize because I have a lot in my mind when it comes to this situation, and it's been about 3 weeks. So forgive me. But what's the first thing? One of the first things we learned about life when we first are born. Life is not what fair, right? Everything in life isn't fair. Everybody doesn't have the same opportunities as everybody. At least you might have an opportunity that I don't have. I can't just always cry about it. Alex may have opportunity I have. I might have opportunity that Alex don't have. It is life. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
on another part of it is like I think people are misconstrued because Team Spooky is so big in our community. He's a staple, and I think that they saw this tournament as the official tournament of Capcom, and it's not. This is a tournament that they run from their house with their streaming equipment with their electricity, with their mics that they bought and everything of that nature. Not one person that complained about this tournament helped them acquire any of that, to run this tournament. So if they decide to make rules, excuse me, if they decide to make rules about a tournament, you have to respect that. This is not a company that, if they said, if this is a company running, like Capcom decided to make this tournament, and then the person that's running that tournament said, no, you can't answer. Okay, then you can go over their head and say, okay, he's not allowing me to answer because so-and-so reason. Then he can get in trouble about that. But you can't get Spooky in trouble about a tournament he ran unless you go on Twitter and try to get people to just back you up over a situation like this. And I just think it was kind of ridiculous that it happened in that situation. And then I had also saw a post that a certain person had made. I don't want to say names or whatever, but about pretty much I'm gonna remember this. My mental health comes first. Y'all coming at me when I was just trying to say something, right? And I was like, well, when you started this, did you think about Spooky's mental health? Like, you pretty much did the same thing that people are doing. You put like a bad taste in everybody's mouth about this man's tournament, and everybody just came after you. Came after you and started, jumping on Spooky and started saying, "Oh yeah, that's messed up. How can he let this person enter, this person that, da da da?" And I'm like, you didn't think about his mental health when you started that, so now you want everybody to think about yours when And I'm all for mental health. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the door's open both ways. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't see how can you just say that when you pretty much did the same thing that's happening to you. And also, yeah, man, I was fully on Spooky side, but there's another thing as well. Like, okay, the series has been going for what, 2 weeks now?
Yeah, about 2 weeks. About
2 weeks, right? Okay, so has any of those players stepped up and started running a tournament from Texas? Have we heard about any online tournament that's running for Texas?
Nope.
Any local? No one. Spooky was doing this, right? But they complained about it. But how about this, right? So instead of complaining about it, just say, you know what? We're not allowed in that tournament. How about we start a tournament, right? In Texas, we'll run it. We'll take our time, run this tournament. Spooky's leaving, right? On Wednesdays, we'll take that spot. We'll say, you know what? Instead of saying New York is banned, everyone can join this tournament just to show that, you know what, it would have worked out. Instead of like dogging the tournament, let's try to make a tournament better than what was being offered, and just try to prove that, you know what, yeah, these connections would have worked if you would have let it happen, da da da. But no one stepped up. We're winless. Wednesday is nothing. We had can opener, but that's not weekly, But someone could have stepped up from that was complaining about it and made their own little tournament scene, but no one did it.
Yeah, I agree.
No one did. So
Crab mentality.
So like crab mentality, right? So everybody brought people down, so everybody's down, but no one's stepping up from there. Someone said, you know what, Spooky's going. Let me make a tournament that's better than that one. Invite everybody, because now we don't have a tournament. This is perfect. Everybody will come to your tournament, but you also put a bad taste in people's mouth about you, so they probably won't come to your tournament. So instead of that, you could have just went to Spooky like in a DM and say, you know what, I probably don't agree with what you're doing because like, you had the da da da, but I'm thinking, you know what, I'm gonna do a tournament. If you could just sponsor it or like, co-sign it, whatever, get some players to come, and I could just show you that, that these connections work, and maybe, we can make a bigger scene, or you can start seeing that it won't be as bad with Texas players, da da da. And it could have been a different way instead of just getting on Twitter ranting. And now we don't have nothing. You know what I mean? So it was a lot. I just didn't understand it.
And then Alex same question to you. Your thoughts on that situation?
I'm gonna head on to what Dimitri said. This is coming from a retail point of view, since I work in retail, and sometimes you get a lot of people that just want their way, and you tell them no, and they still don't know.
Lord.
They still don't know what no means. And Spooky, like we just mentioned, it's just two people running this tournament, and they're not licensed. Am I correct or am I wrong?
No, man.
No,
They're doing it out
dude, I
there.
used to work at retail myself, so I know what you're talking about.
it's just two people, right? So I'm on his side because I feel like he has the right to decide who he's letting in, and he doesn't have to explain because it's his tournament. It's not like it's official by anyone. It's just two people, and I think in the rules, and I could be wrong, but somewhere in his rule set, it says we have the right to change any of these certain blah 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 at any point we choose. I think that's what it says at the bottom of his rule book on Smash GG.
On the sign up
And,
page for the
yeah,
Smash
and
GG.
that should be enough to tell you, hey, if I want to do this, I could do this. I don't have to explain anything to anyone. And man, I saw people on Twitter just going off on him, and I'm not gonna name any people, but this certain Mika player that I saw this tweet and it just triggered me because I hear this all the time in retail. He was like, I'm never registering for this tournament ever again, and it sounded just like when someone tells you, I'm never coming back to this business ever again. I don't know, man. It triggered me because I'm like, bro, this sounds like retail all over. Like
Man.
these guys eating all this shit for no reason. Like Demetrius said, he probably took a lot out of his own pocket just to set up all this stream. It's not a cheap stream, I can tell you that right now. So based on those facts alone, I feel like Spooky is in the right. He has the right to choose who he's letting in, who he's not. He can change this at any point. It's his tournament. It's not owned by anybody. It's just two people, and people are calling out the other TO as being mean and assertive. But like you mentioned, Kirk and Shadow, and I'm pretty sure Darius, they've been TOs for a long time, and they have to put up with a lot of shit. I remember one time in DreamHack 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I volunteered to help Demetrius TO the Tekken bracket. And I was just handling one pool, and I couldn't even do it. It was crazy. People were just all over you. And so I have no idea how you guys do it. That shit is crazy. I was already tired just running one pool. And he has to eat all that up every week. And he's supposed to just smile and say, oh, okay. No, he's obviously gonna push back, and people are calling him mean and shit. But I mean, if you beat up on somebody, you're gonna turn that person into a more assertive person. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just my standpoint on that.
Yo, that's 1,000% facts, man. 1,000% facts. I agree with all of your standpoints, man. It is, man, because again, at the end of the day, you're volunteering your time to run the event. You know, I mean,
Exactly.
unless a company is paying you to run or host an event, you're doing this out of the comfort of your time. Like you're dedicating yourself, you're setting aside 2 to 4 hours out this particular day to run this tournament because you enjoy the scene, you enjoy the company, you enjoy the community, and you're doing that, right? And a lot of the times, TOs, they don't go, I mean, they go unappreciated, right? Like, for example, let me give you guys a perfect example. Do you guys know the names of, like, can you guys name me at least 4 different TOs that are not in Georgia? At least, well, no, 4 may be a little too much. 2. No, 3. 3. At least three tournament organizers. Can you name them?
I can say Tom, out of
Jabali?
Florida, Wheelie out of Florida, and I can't remember the one from Combo Breaker by name, but yeah, it's hard.
I can name a lot.
You can name a lot. Okay.
The TO group right there. He's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason why I said that is because not to pick on you, Knowledge, but you said that the guy that runs Combo Breaker, right?
Yeah, man. I can't think of his name right off my head.
See, you good, Knowledge. But the reason why I say that is because, again, people will know players, will know players' names first before they know the person that's behind the scenes. Like they will know and remember players' names before they remember the person that even runs the event. Right?
That's facts. That's facts.
That's facts. And I want to make sure that our TOs are appreciated out there. You should know. Again, not just you, but we as a collective should know who our TOs are, bro. Like our local TOs, we need to know who they are, bro. Like Who was the person that ran my bracket? Who was the one who organized this event? I want to know that. I want to know that information. I don't want to go to a tournament, just play in the bracket and just go home. Okay, GG's, I'm done. Hey, who ran this tournament? Yeah, you. Hey, nice to meet you. My name is ShadowAce. What's your name? How long you been doing this? This, that, and the third. But I realized that some people are not as open, like social wise. They just come in, they'll play, and then they leave. I think we should be more thankful towards the people that are putting these events together, right? Because again, they put in a lot of work, especially tournament organizers that run series of events. They may do this weekly, they may do it monthly, things that I think we need to appreciate them, because at the end of the day, when all the stress is mounting up, I mean, just imagine what Spooky goes through. Spooky has to deal with hundreds and hundreds of different people, bro, like from all over the globe. And of course, the people that try to sneak in and change their connection, their location settings, and this, that, and the dope. But he's doing this. He was doing this on a weekly basis with different tournaments, not just Street Fighter. He was hosting events with men, and men was doing TO things in the background. So you hear more about Spooky than you hear about men, right? You hear more about you hear like when people do appreciation posts, they always direct it towards Spooky, the collective. Hey Spooky, thanks for running suspend. Hey Spooky, this, that, and the third. But you would rarely see people mention that men is one of the was one of the main anchors of holding down for organizing and supporting the events. And again, you're dealing with different people from all around the globe each week, and that's a lot, man. That's a lot. And his decision to walk away ultimately just meant that it was just something just happened, like something that was boiling over throughout time, just boom, just pop. Like when you cooking, rice or something, and you may put too much water into the pot and it starts overflowing when it gets hot. That's kind of what happened, man. It just kind of overboiled, and eventually he said, "You know what? Bet somebody want to say this about my event. Bet I'm done." And you lose good TOs like that. You lose access to a lot of good revenues and a lot of good venues like that by making these TOs step down from that. So basically, in a nutshell, to sum everything up, bro, just respect your TOs, man. Like in your local scene, if you're listening to this right now, and you got a TO in your scene, next time you go to the offline event or next time you compete in an online event, just say, yo, simple, hey, man, thank you for running an event. We appreciate that. Thank you. And that's it. That's it. You know how many people just, they'll lose in the tournament and they just walk off? Or they're just like, all right, bye. And then I guess see you next time. Just thank your TOs for running the event, man, because they don't have to do it. And it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, man. But
Yeah, that is
appreciate you guys, for tackling that subject. Y'all had anything else y'all wanted to add to it?
Oh, real quick, Ace. He deserves his name to be called out. Who is the tournament organizer for Combo Breaker? Say his name, man.
Tournament
He deserves it.
organizer for the tournament organizer
Combo
for
Breaker.
Combo Breaker.
Yeah, say his
Hado.
name, man.
Oh,
Hado.
I
Huh?
was thinking CEO for some reason. Never mind.
I know him.
Yeah. Hado.
Rick the Hotto.
Yep. Rick the Hado.
And
There we go. He
also,
deserves his
he's
name.
not.
Now we know.
He also not head over Evo.
Mm-hmm. So big ups to Rick the Hado. It is, y'all. So and that's it, man. That's it. That's why I was like, I always talk to I like even at file round for dealing with Shin Blanca and Larry. I would say, yo, man, appreciate you, for doing this, and appreciate you for letting me run these brackets and stuff. Because again, even when bracket running, when you have majors, they go through hell too. The bracket runners, man, they gotta play the good guy and they gotta play the bad guy.
Who Lord.
You gotta DQ. They gotta DQ people. They gotta be like, bro, you ain't here on time. I'm DQing. And you get backlash. Do you see people go on Twitter, be like, hey man, I was DQ from my pool. This, this, that, and the third, and it becomes a mess, man. It becomes a mess. So, yo, shut again. Basically, to sum everything up, man.
This
I think Shadow got disconnected.
Yeah.
Did we lose Ace?
wait. We cannot
Ace is still on the
hear.
call. He might need to hang up and come back in.
Yeah. Someone messaged him
I
on
got you.
Discord.
I got you. Okay, so he got
He got
disconnected.
Oh,
Okay, okay, he's back.
yeah. See, man, I had stood up. I was about to hit in the preacher mode. I was like, yo, let me. I said, yo, let me chill, man. But yeah, man,
Yeah, we waiting
this
for
is
the
some of
come up.
the.
We waiting for the come up. We like, hold
Yeah,
up.
you know
That's
what
a
I'm saying. Look,
say
I
something
I was about to get into it, man. But yeah, I didn't want to keep keep y'all going. But yeah, I appreciate that. Alexa let me know my mic was out. I stood up, I walked around, and next thing I know, I turned around, my mic was unplugged, man. Look, that's how you know I
How
was
far
getting.
you got into your conversation before you realized?
It took a while, man. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, bro. Why my cord dragging behind me? Wait a minute. What? But yeah, man, that basically just sums up everything, man. Just show some love for your TOs, man, and thank the people who are running the event, man. Because and at the end of the day, they don't got to do it. So that's all. That's all I had to. That's all I had to say about that particular subject. So man, um, so we're gonna move on to another topic before we dive into the interesting questions. Before we touch down on the basic questions that I ask pretty much everybody that joins in to get a little bit of information about you guys as players. Um, and this is pretty interesting here. So, all right, all right. So let me ask you this: if players do not compete at their locals, are they considered a top player in their scene? An example, let me give you an example. They stream a lot, they stream pretty often, or they may just be online playing a lot, but they don't go to their locals, or they just play a line on a lot. And they may be like ultimate grandmaster or warlord rank type players. And let me start out with you, Knowledge, since you the Georgia TO, man.
I'm gonna start by saying no. I'm gonna tell you this, right? We have a player here, right? That's very potent online. He's amazing. He's a fellow Cameo player as well. But he doesn't come out, right? And I think if he came out, he'd probably be one of the better players. But he's not. He's not even known by a lot of players except for Georgia players, and that's Delta Red, right? So Delta Red, he's crazy online. He was probably the best Cammy in the state, honestly. Even that's when me, Darius, and Delta was here. Like he was probably the best one based off
Wait,
online results. But when
wait.
he
So
came
outside of,
out,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know, say it. What you about to say?
I was about to say, wait. So outside of you, Darius, and Delta, there's another Cammy?
No. I'm saying Delta with those three, he was the better out of the three as far as online and everything, right? Because he was
There in
ultimate
Georgia?
grandmaster in Georgia, right? He was the highest ranked. He was well known online, and everything. But when Delta came out, he came out to a couple tournaments before. He did not do well at all, right? He got washed actually. But and I say this because when you're at home, you're comfortable. Like we were talking about earlier, you're very comfortable in everything. You know what you're doing. You know, you get salty, you can just cut the game off for like 2 minutes, turn it back on. You thirsty, you go to the refrigerator, get you some water. You don't have all that offline. You got to become prepared. You got to come ready. So like, you have to come improve yourself to be known as the top player in the state. You have to. Noni has done that. We have a player called No Need to Talk. He was very known online. He was like, okay, but what's offline results? That he came out, he the best. You know what I mean? He's proved it. He the best. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody messing with no knee at this point. But you have to come out and prove it. If you don't, I mean, whatever. You're an online warrior. You just enjoy it. So yeah, I believe you have to.
Okay. So they would not. So their name should not be coming up in a top player discussion then, and
Nope,
for this scene.
absolutely not.
All
I
right.
don't believe so. Another person, right? Kakarot. He's probably one of our better players as well, but he doesn't compete. So he's not one of our top players.
So
How
he's
you a
just
top
a.
player with no how you a top player with no with no awards, no accolades, nothing. You're a good player, but you got no accolades.
But here's the $1 million question. Like, yo, why does he not play offline? Like, why does he not compete in tournaments?
Man, listen, Kakarot is Kakarot. We don't
Gee.
know. I don't think Kakarot knows. But hey, it is.
You don't know, Kakarot don't know why he don't compete offline.
Kakarot don't know. So we don't. How we gonna know?
I could never. I don't know, man. I could never solve that mystery. Like, Kakarot's good. Like, he's a
I think it's
strong
because
player,
his
man. But he
job,
just, I don't know,
because he be
man.
getting out late.
From his work, yeah, like, or just business stuff, maybe. But he came that one time though to the 4-4 that Friday. He was able to
He
come
was
then.
on edge about that though. He was he was 50-50 on that.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well. Let me ask you that same question then, Alex. That what do you think? If players don't compete at their local, are they considered a top player in their state or scene?
I don't think so. Just because if you're playing online all the time, how would you know if those skills translate when you're offline? So I think I'm speaking from experience because when I used to play Street Fighter 5 online only before I started coming out to um to locals, I thought I was really good. I was like, man, I'm kicking ass. I'm doing this and that. And then the first tourney I came in, I went 0-2. So I was like, oh, I'm not that good then. I was wrong. And the same thing happened. The same thing probably would have happened when I was playing Street Fighter 4 because I used to play that nonstop. And if I had come out to tournaments, I would have realized I probably wasn't that good.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's kind of like my sentiments as far as like if players are not going out to the locals to compete. I mean, they represent the scene, and I'm gonna say no, they should not represent the scene. I would say that they are a player that plays the game, but they currently live in the state. I think that'll be a fair thing to say. They play the game, but they just live in the state. I don't think they would be a part of the scene competitively if they're not going to compete offline, right? And again, we do have a couple of players that are currently in that condition. Like they play the game, they stream constantly, but they just won't come out to the locals to compete. So um I mean, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. That's just a interesting thought I had because I do see these players grinding, as ranked. They be playing ranked a lot and stuff, and I just wondering like, yo, why don't these players come out offline to throw these hands in person? Like, what's going on? Like you sitting here taking points from grandmasters, warlords and stuff. Like, yo, get these real life currency dollars, man. Get these real points. Come offline and bust some heads, man. And I guess I don't know. Maybe just a comfort thing. Maybe just don't want to be around the environment. I'm not sure, but I could never. That's just something I could never figure out. But I just wanted to get y'all opinions on that. But SirRetro, yo, same question for you. If you if you here with us.
Oh yeah, I'm still here with y'all. Yeah. Same boat. Cause like I said, I can tell you examples and everything like that. But I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Where yeah, if players, they may be solid, they may be streaming, play the game consistently, support it, all that stuff, but they do not come out to the tournament, and I do not see the results. Therefore, I'm not gonna consider you a top player. I'm not going to consider you that. I'll know of you. I know they can play this character, but have you come out to our tournament and say, all right, let me play this person, let me play this person, go through the brackets. If I don't see that consistency, I won't consistently call you a top player. Simple and plain and simple.
I also think it has to do with pride too, as well. Pride and ego.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's another thing. I think if people, they play online, they want to keep that reputation up of being a strong player or whatever, and if they go online, they get their head busted in, and go, 1-2 or 2-3, 2-2 or something. So I think is they want to reflect, they want to keep up their image of just being this godly player, but they don't want to lose offline. Want to lose to a certain player that they know that they should beat, i.e., for example, Joel and the Alex saga. You know what I'm saying? Well, they didn't even play in tournament. They didn't even. I don't even think they played casuals that day. But I know that Joel wasn't too fond of Alex Dot Dot being in grand finals against Molly. So here's my thing is, Alex, he earned this spot. He earned his W. He fought for his opportunity to get there, and he closed it out. He closed out the account. So with that being said, they gotta hold it. The people who are not too fond of Alex winning, they gotta hold it. Unless, like he said at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of the broadcast, come out there and prove him wrong. Take the championship away. Just come out there to fight, bro. Just come out there to run the set, and that's that'll be it, man. That's my thoughts on that particular situation. So we're gonna move down to we will move down to some interesting questions to try to get a little bit of knowledge behind the players. We got KnowledgeReUp here, so that kind of works both ways. So these questions basically just want to find out a little bit more of you guys as a player. What was, for knowledge, I'm gonna start off with you. So what was the first tournament you attended in Georgia, and what was the game you played?
Let's see. First tournament, man. It's crazy when you ask that question. I didn't even realize how long I've been there. It's crazy. First tournament was definitely Battle and Brew back when it was in Marietta. I played Street Fighter 4, and it was it was crazy because the way I learned about that tournament was with Marshawn. Y'all know him as Do You Want More? Back in the day, his name was Cancel Goddess. Little fact for y'all, because he played Viper, see Viper in the game. And like me and my homeboy Mike, we thought we was straight at the game. We had went in, what was it? Micro Center one day. They had the game on demo. We was like, oh man, I got Street Fighter out. We gonna play this game. So I bought it, whatever, and we just mashing and figuring about FADC and all this other stuff. We're like, man, what is this? We was over here like posting clips of us doing an FADC into like a whiff. FADC was like, oh man, we gross. we was learning the game. We was like, oh, we good. And Mike went to Southern Poly, and that's where my son, Do You Want More, went to. So he was like, yeah, I know this guy that plays Street Fighter. We should go see him or whatever. So I went out there. I'm about to watch this dude. I played Ken back then. Everyone played Ryu or Ken. So I was playing Ken as my first character. And so we went out there, and I was like, yeah, I'm about to play this guy named Marshawn. So he started playing Viper. He brought out everything. He started canceling, and I'm like, man, wait, we're playing the same game? Like, I didn't know that all this stuff was the same. And he just watched me, right? And he was like, okay, well, since y'all want to play, y'all should come out to tournaments. I'm like, they run tournaments for this game? I'm like, yeah, it's called Battle Brew. It's a bar up the street. So we was like, okay, cool. So we went up there, and I remember when they was talking about all the matches, but I don't know if y'all remember Battle Brew, but before they start, they call everybody and they start seeing everything that's going on, all the rules and everything, and they start calling matches. Mm-hmm. So I want to say my first match. Okay, by that time also I had switched to Chun-Li. So that's when I had switched. I was like, I'm done with Ken. I got body. I'm picking another character. I went to Chun-Li. I was matching legs. I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy. So I started picking Chun-Li, and my first match, believe it or not, was Joel. So what a way to come into a community is fighting probably the best player in that community at the time. So I played Joel, and on top of that, I was playing Chun-Li. And as we all know who Joel's training partner was, Cardell, which is probably the best Chun-Li in the state. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm about to just, play. So we played, I don't even know a word for it. It was so bad, it was crazy. And then I was like, dang. And then he got up and he told me, yeah, man, you can't just be throwing out fierce and heavy kick and think you're going to win, and walked away. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I'm about to come back here and beat his ass. Like, I was so upset. Like, Cardell was like trying to, show me like, yeah, you need to learn how to do this, da, da, da. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying right now. I don't know anything like what you're talking about, heavy kicking the legs and, da, da, da. I'm like, I don't know nothing about this. But when Joel said, that's nothing about the community now. Like, if someone was to say it to someone nowadays, they probably would never play the game again. But back then, when he said that, it lit a fire in me. I'm like, I'm going to learn this game and come back next month or whatever it was. I think it was weekly, monthly, whatever. I'm going to body this guy because he ain't going to say and tell me I'm just throwing 2 buttons and trying to win. But honestly, that's all I was doing. I was just throwing out fierce, heavy punch, and he was just whipping the shit out of me. I was just like, damn, oh well. And then I want to say, I can't remember who took me out in losers. Um, but I stayed and got took out in losers and everything. But yeah, man, that was my first tournament. I didn't go on 2 though, so I did win 1. I don't know what scrub I beat. 'Cause I was
We got one
horrible.
though.
Yeah, but I got 1 in. I
We
didn't
got
waste
one.
money. I didn't waste money. I got 1 in. That was my first time. It brought me into the scene. And ever since then, I kept going. And yeah, man, just stay. Guys, I want to say this real quick though. Like with the new community, don't get discouraged when someone says something. Like just have that fire. If you really want to do something, just go at it, man. Just don't leave. Don't leave the scene. I understand you might feel a certain way about it, but just come back, man. Use that as motivation. Yeah, that was my first thing.
There it is, y'all. And then same question to you for Alex. What was the first tournament you attended in Georgia, and what game did you play?
Actually, I have a funny story about that. It was I think I told Demetrius that one time we were going to Alabama. So you guys know that restaurant called Iron Age by Wasteland Gaming?
Yeah.
So my girlfriend dragged me up there because she wanted to eat there, and there was like a 40-minute wait, I think. And back then there was like a comic book shop right next to Iron Age. I don't know if you guys remember. Um,
I think I think I
you know what I'm talking about? They
think I
used to sell
remember.
like board games, comic books, Funko Pops, and all that junk. They're not there anymore, but
Yeah,
it
they
was
shut
there.
down, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so to kill the time, I told her, let's go to that comic book shop. Let's go read some comics. And then when we were there, I overheard 2 people talking about Street Fighter 5 tournament um, that was going on back there or something like that, right? So I approached them, and because I didn't know that there was Mutleys going on in my area or tournaments. Period. I didn't really come out or anything. I didn't even know that there was a thing. And then I went up to them and was like, "Are you guys talking about Street Fighter 5 tournament?" And they were like, "Yeah, they play them every month or every week at Wasteland Gaming in the back." And it had already finished by that time, but I wanted to check it out. So one of them gave me like a Facebook link so I could go register next time. And that's the first time I came out. That's how I found out about the Gwinnett Brawl. So I signed up for the next event, and I went, and I still remember who I fought too. I was playing Rashid, and I fought. You guys remember Chris Tendo, the Zangief player?
Hmm. Yeah.
I
I remember him.
fought him, and he destroyed me so badly. Um, but back then I didn't know that there was a losers bracket. So when I lost, I just left. And then like next event, I showed up, and then Darius was like, there's a loser bracket. You're still in. You're not out. And I was like, oh, for real? It was just funny. But yeah, Gwinnett Bro was my first event.
Okay. Okay, that's what's up, man. So you started out for tournaments for Street Fighter 5, and that's how
Yeah.
you discovered the community here in the scene. So that's what's up, man. So what was one of your fondest tournament Georgia memories? Fondest GA tournament memories?
For me, it was the first time I won the Gwinnett Bro weeklies with Blanca against Darius. But I think the reason I won that is because everybody had left for combo breakers. So it was just a few people in there, but it was still pretty funny though.
Okay. Okay. All right. And yeah, that. Okay, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up. I always love to see, you know, want to hear about that. What about you, Knowledge? What was one of your fondest Georgia tournament memories?
Uh, funny enough, is when the first time I beat Joel. Mission accomplished. I finally beat him. I was so ecstatic. I started pounding my kneecaps. I was like, "Yeah, man, I finally beat you!" Like, congratulations, you beat me. And then he like walked off. I was like, "Boy, you just like it was like whatever to him." And I was like, "Bro, I'm feeling so hyped." And he just like, "Yeah, man, you finally got me." And then I was like, "This is not how I felt. I should have beat him worse. I should have beat him worse." But no, that was the funnest minute, man. I finally beat Joel. I got that demon off my back, man, because it took me a long time to beat that, man, but I finally got it. So that was definitely my funnest memory.
Okay, yeah, man, beating that one particular player that like you kind of either have like really hard like just can't really deal with the player in general, or just like the matchup may be a little just too difficult for you, and then when you finally clutch out that W to get the to move on to the bracket and tournament, man, it just overwhelming sign of relief, because it's like the Android 16 meme where he was like, "Yo, I got one though," and then it's a picture of just him and his head with a smiling face on it. That's how I feel, man, in tournament, because you just been going through hell trying to compete in this bracket, like, and just being able to hang with that player, and then you just able to clutch it out at that one day, and then they may be like, "Oh man, I was off today" or something like that. But nah. It's not you being off, bro. You just have to hold that L. I got one, yo. I got one, and we taking that. So yeah, man, good stuff, man. Good stuff. And yeah, man, that's just very interesting, yo, to hear about you guys' first tournament, and like your fondest memories in the Georgia tournament scene as well. Um, but speaking of the Georgia tournament scene, what do you guys think of the current Street Fighter Five community scene in here in Georgia? And I'm gonna start off with you, Alex.
Before we continue though, I really was curious to know what was your finest moment.
Oh, my finest moment. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
my finest moment, and
yeah.
I
I'm
might.
curious
Well,
now. I was thinking of that. I thought you
yeah,
were
yeah,
gonna
no,
say it.
yeah, no problem, no problem. I'll be more than happy to tell you that, Alex. I will be more than happy to explain it
All
to
right,
you. Look,
go ahead.
man, my happiest moment was playing when I played against Ice Effect, and I beat Ice Effect in tournament. Now, I will say this: this was prime Ice Effect, but Ice Effect was literally unstoppable. Like, this man was consistently top three
I
during the
remember
GoNet
that.
brawls. Who consistently, like, this Ice Effect was, you know, he was there, yo. This was prime Ice Effect. He was using Lore, and I was using Ed. And now this is when Ed was horrible, horrible character, yo. And I think it was just maybe a a few months after his release, because I had tried him out, because I was originally a Rashid player, and I just tried out Ed, and I was like, yo, I kind of like this character a little bit. So I decided just to rock him out, right? Just rock out with Ed real quick and see how I do with them in tournament. And then, man, I was getting bopped up pretty badly, because season 2 release Ed was just terrible. Like, the character wasn't complete. They were buggy. Combos would drop constantly, and it was just horrible. And I just kept using the character in tournament. I was like, man, you know what? I'm not giving up. I know this character is not great and this, that, and the third, but I'm still using them. I was being a misogynist, or whatever the hell they call that. Um, and I think I did what happened? I think I did crouching medium punch in the upper and the super. I was playing against Paintbot. He was using Geef in a tournament one day, and I kid you not, this man fell out of the out of the super. Then he woke up
What?
in this ultra, and I died. He fell out of the super, yo. That's how
Yo.
bad it was.
No.
That's how bad it was, man. They had to fix that. They had to do a hot fix just to, make sure all of his hits connect. So when he fell out the super, he blocked the rest of it, and then he just supered me back, and I died. And that moment right there, just like, I just felt like giving up. One day, it was a Gwinnett brawl, and it was like, "Yo, you gotta play against Ice Effect on stream." I said, "Oh shit, really? I gotta play against Ice Effect?" And it might be archived. It might be still archived on the Gwinnett Brawl Twitch channel. Actually, now that I think about it, and it may be on their YouTube. But yeah, I had to play against Ice Effect, and I was like, "All right, here we go. I'm gonna try my best." And I noticed I was winning, yo. I was winning into the set, and then I managed to finish the set, and I won. And when I beat Ice Effect, I was like, "Yo, I just did it. I did it." And that moment, I felt like I made a breakthrough as a player. So that was kind of like my highlight, because I've been grinding with the character, and the character was just like awful. And winning against a player that was easily considered the best, and one of the best in the state. That was a highlight for me, for my Street Fighter career, yo, here for the offline. So yeah, that was one of my fondest memories. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
let me dive into to the next question. So what did you guys, so what do you think knowledge of the current Street Fighter 5 community scene here in Georgia?
Um, uh, the last tournament gave us hope. But before that, it was a what's a community question. Like, you said the Street Fighter community, like what community? Because we wasn't getting a lot of show ups. Like, even though it wasn't a lot of tournaments going on with COVID and everything, um, online really messed up the Street Fighter 5 community because a lot of people did not like online. Um, People wasn't really, trying to travel and link up and play offline Street Fighter. Um, the chat we was talking about Street Fighter, but then for the most part we was talking about other stuff and everything like that. It wasn't really a solid scene. But with this last tournament that we just ran, it gives me hope. And like I said before, seeing all the new names, that was great to see a lot of names that I never recognized in the bracket. So hopefully, it is growing. That seed is planted. It'll start growing back. People start coming back out and everything. But for the moment, it was really weak, man. It was weak for a second. I mean, I'll say we probably had. I'd probably say like in the Atlanta scene. I don't want to say about the other scenes that's out. The Macon scene, they probably was thriving still, but in the scene that I know as far as Atlanta and the metro area, it was pretty weak. But um, I'm hoping it gets back to where it was. I want to see people coming out. I want to see people traveling a lot more again. Like tournaments are starting to come back out. Like I said, we didn't have no one to go to Texas Showdown, but once again, our scene is older, so we have an older scene. We don't have a lot of young bucks in our scene, so we have to really talk to a lot of people and start trying to get them back into it. Hopefully, Street Fighter 6 is going to bring us back. But right now it's pretty. It's kind of to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of. All right. All right. Same question to you, Alex. What do you think about the scene here in Georgia?
Uh, to be honest, it's kind of hard to tell. I really don't know where we're at this point. I mean, like he just said, this past tournament, a lot of people came out. Uh, but that was just this tournament. I don't know how it's going to be next one or the one after that, because prior to that, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty dead. Like, to the point where 404 just took off Street Fighter 5 because nobody was showing up. It was like two, maybe three people that showed up. So I hope that this last event had encourages more people to show up, because I mean it's more fun when you see a larger group and you grow as a community. So and you want to see that growth. You don't want just the same people winning over and over. You want other people to get to that level, so the competition can be a little funner, a little better. Um, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on that right now. I really hope that the Georgia scene um, gets in gear. Um, yeah, that's where I'm at right now, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Pretty much the same sentiment that both of you guys had here as far as the scene goes. We do, again at that event we did have some new players, some new younger looking players here, and those, believe it or not, that's the future, man. That could be the next baton to pass off on to all knowledge, pass on to them, because since they're of the younger variety, they may have a little bit more extra time, extra free time on their hands to commit to the grind and commit to the level up. Versus our scene now, our Street Fighter players now, all of us from the Street Fighter 4 era, we're in our 30s, man. We're in our 30s, late, early 30s, late 30s. Some of us are in the 40s now. So that's just, our time is like, we gotta use our time wisely while we can play, while we can still play. And again, since we did see those newer players at the scene, we can hopefully foster their growth, and they can be girls coming out the gate for Street Fighter 6, because again, they'll have a foundation in Street Fighter 5, and that was kind of one of my main concerns for the the players for the scene. Well, because I always looked at it as when I was coming up into the Street Fighter 4 scene, how did I train? How did I practice? How did I level up in that game? Right? And if players, if they don't have an offline scene to go to events to meet people and to, foster those relationships to get stronger, they don't have any room to grow. So that's kind of how I looked at it from my perspective. Like, hey, if these guys don't have an offline event to come out and to gain these same type of connections that we had during our generation, then they're in trouble. Then they won't be able to play Street Fighter 6 comfortably. So that's kind of one of the things I wanted to try to help and develop and get talk to these newer guys and see what their thoughts on as far as like getting better and stuff. Because when I was at the one more round event for Street Fighter 5, we were doing I was playing casuals against the Ken player. So after we was done with our set, I introduced myself. They introduced themselves to me, and that's what's up, man. And we'll see. Hopefully, they'll be back at the next one. They'll remember that experience. They'll say, "Hey, you were the guy that we ran casuals last time, and I'm back here, and let's see how I do this time." And it just grows from there. That's how you make the community grow, man. You got to make sure it's a welcoming environment, for these players to grow and nurture, man. So that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So let me dive right into another just a quick little ads that we got, for upcoming events. We've been talking about Street Fighter 5 one more round, which is the May 15th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time at 44 Esports. There's also the Reboot on May 14th as well. And they also have a SNK tournament program for KOF 15. So again, if you guys are playing KOF 15, please go out there and represent and support down to that Reboot retro scene. They also have different events as well. And also the return of online data FGC events, May 7th, May 8th in Cumberland. So this is definitely a good time, man. It's going towards the summertime. School is being left out, so these players are going to want to, now that they have some little free time, we might see more of them come through to these events. So we had 20 deep this time, and I hope next event, the May 14th, we smashed those numbers. We hit 30. So, that'll definitely be the big thing to take away from that. Is just keep fostering the growth of the players here, man, and making it happen. So let me got another good question for you guys here. So knowledge, who introduced you to fighting games, or how did you find the Georgia FGC?
Oh wow, I think I answered this one already. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I
it was
asked you what was your first tournament, right?
yeah, it
I
was
said
cool
who
though.
introduced.
Yeah, it was on Marshawn. Like I said, y'all know I'm gonna do you want more. Um, yeah, he was my first sensei, as we would say. He taught us the ins and outs of the game, and that was one of my first goals is to beat him. And, and like we grind so much, man. Like we went in like multiple nights, 24. Sometimes we did 24 hours. I think one time you played Street Fighter 4 for 24 hours because he wanted us to catch up so much so we can be competitive in it. So yeah, it was definitely do you want more? So my first sensei.
First, I say, do you want more? Yo, do
Like,
you want more?
yep.
All right, still
Shout outs
playing
to
that
him.
Karen.
Shout outs to him.
Yo, big shots to do you want more, man. And then what about you, Alex? That who introduced you to fighting games, and how did you find the Georgia FGC?
Who introduced me to fighting games in general? That would be my dad. The
Oh
reason I
wow.
said this is because in Mexico, he used to be a killer in Street Fighter 2. He used to go to tournaments like the arcades back then where they used to be held. He used to win. I think he told me he has a trophy back in Mexico about it. And then when Street Fighter 4 came out, he went and bought a PS3 with Street Fighter 4. And we just started playing, like me and him together. He introduced me to that game, and then I got addicted to it. I kind of, I'm not trying to saying the mini games, but I left him in the dust because I got better and he didn't. He still plays though. He still plays a lot, um, but he's the one that introduced me to fighting games in general. He was like, "Hey, play this character, play that character." I play Blanca because of him. That's the character he taught me. Um, that being said, who introduced me to Gwinnett Brawl? I forgot, to be honest. Who introduced me to the tournaments here in Georgia? Like I said, it was random. It was that one interaction at that comic book shop. I forgot the guy's name. I never asked for his name, and I never saw him in the tournaments either. So, um, yeah, that's basically what happened.
So let me just clarify that. Your dad was the one that introduced you to Street Fighter 4, and you say he still plays?
Yeah, he still plays, but he doesn't play five. He's kind of old school, so
Uh-huh.
he doesn't like all this new B trigger, all this new mechanics. He stayed in the old school. The farthest he got was just Street Fighter 4. After that, he didn't play anymore. But he was a killer when it came to Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Um, he was really good at Third Strike, and Street Fighter 4. That was the last game he played, but that's the one me and him used to play nonstop back when it first came out. That was the whole reason we got a PS3.
So who was he using in Street Fighter 4?
He was using Blanca and he was using Bison.
So you played you played Blanca because of him, or you
Yeah,
just
basically. That's the
uh,
first character that he showed me, and then I just stuck with it. But he mostly used to main Bison and Blanca, and that's the character that I got attached to because of him, and that's why I still play this character till now.
yo, that's what's up, man. That's definitely interesting, man. Yo, the dad was the one who showed you the light, showed you the way, introduced you
Basically.
to fighting
And like I
games, said,
said,
"Yo,
he
check out
he
my
was
Blanca."
a certified killer in Street Fighter 2 in Mexico, like back when it was just all in arcades machines and all that stuff. Um, I mean, yeah, it's insane. But thanks to him, I got into fighting games in general because it branched out from Street Fighter, and now I play like other games like Guilty Gear. I play Tekken sometimes, and um, but yeah, it was mostly thanks to him.
Yeah, so you said he still got it in the Street Fighter 2? Like he still
He
got
still got it. He still
still got
got it.
hands?
Still got a Street. He still got hands. Street Fighter 2. He still got. I'm
Oh,
not even gonna lie. He still got Street Fighter 4 as well. But
what? So you
ever
saying
since
he's
Street
nice
Fighter,
in Street Fighter 4 with the
he's
Blanca,
nice in
yeah?
Street Fighter 4. No, he's nicer with the Bison. I
The
think the
Bison.
Blanca was his secondary, but the Bison is where he's at.
Wow. Yo. Hey man, we might have to
Yo,
get your dad in the exhibition, bro.
please.
You were gonna say that.
We have to get your dad in the exhibition. Let's go, Alex.
That man's a legend
Shout
in
Alex
Mexico,
dot
bruh.
dad. Alex dot dad. Let's go.
Alex dot
Let's
there. That's
go.
his gamer
It's
tag,
not
bro.
that.
Alex dot there.
Alex dot dad. Let's go. Hey, I like that, man. That's what's up, man. The fact that your pops was running the sets with you, and he still has hands to this day. So I'm interested to see him play, man. I'm very interested to see him play. So that's what's up, man. Having family members that are able to play with you and compete with you, that can go a long way too, man, as well. Because you got somebody at home you can practice live with. So the
Yeah.
fact that siblings can siblings in the family they can run hands with you, that comes a long way too as well. So
What's crazy that in my family, I have three siblings, and I tried to get the one who plays games the most, my brother, into fighting games, but he was not into it. So it's just me. I'm the only one in the family that actually loves fighting games as much as he does. But yeah, it was a struggle. Like the thing with my sibling, I tried to teach him, but um, when you don't know how to do a combo or it's not going your way, you just give up. And I think that's the main reason some of these players don't stick with fighting games when it doesn't go their way the first time. You have to keep constantly try. You know what I mean?
right, right, and then that's another layer too on top of that as
Yeah.
well. For sure, man. That's definitely yeah. Because when you think about it, it depends on the mentality of the person. Like if they're willing to commit to learning the game, and sticking with it, whether then they just lose once or twice and then they're like, oh, I can't win, I'm done with it, and they just walk away or go on to something else. I mean, everybody's mentality is different, man. But if you're willing to accept your L's and you just keep fighting, you just keep playing, because eventually you know that one day throughout the grinding and the hard work, you're eventually gonna get the W. So you can't win everything, right? You can't win. That's impossible. Like, I've never met a person on earth in my lifetime who has won every single tournament, like who has won anything they everything and anything they touched. They win all the time consistently. Like, that's a like if somebody like that exists in your life, you got to get them out to a tournament, bro. Get them out to a major or something like that, because
Yeah.
there's no way they should be coming out here being untouchable, man. Everybody in this game gets touched. Everybody, doesn't matter who you are. So with that being said, man, that is what's up, yo. So the Alex dot dad has hands. Jaco, man, you hear that? Put him in an exhibition, man.
Jacob made in the chat like, want to join my exhibition?
For making the promo for our podcast too, man. For sure. Shouts to him.
All right, yo, big shouts to Jaco, man, for running that, man. But yo, that looks like that sounds fun, man. So that looks like that's gonna wrap it up for the podcast, man. Unless you guys got anything you guys wanna talk about or discuss real quick.
We'll say one thing though.
What's up?
Just to repeat myself, if you don't want to see Blanca in grand finals next monthly, you gotta come out.
Mm-mm.
Fair.
Heard this, man. Say that, yo. You say it with your chest. Say that, hey, if you don't want Blanca to win, you stop streaming. You tell your subscribers, you tell your Twitch followers or whatever. You tell your audience, look, I'm about to get into this offline tournament. I'm not streaming today. I'm gonna put I'll stream when I come back. You put the stream to the side. You bring your ass offline, okay? You come offline, bro. Damn it, come offline. Come offline,
I'm gonna
man.
put this out there. If Alex wins the next tournament, I'll give him $50 out of my pocket because it's not about to happen. So he ain't got work. He ain't got to make that announcement. He ain't got to say no. The same people that gonna do
Okay.
that, he ain't winning. He ain't winning. He
Uh-oh.
knows that. So if he win the next one, I'll give him 50 out of my pocket right then and there. So there you go,
Let's
Alex.
make it. I'm gonna make it interesting. I got another 50. I'll put another 50 on it.
There you go, Alex. You got 100 on the line. If you win the next tournament plus the pot. How about that?
What was the count that people enter was 23, right?
23.
If more than 23 people show up, just surpass the last registration number, I'll put in another 52 on the pot. That's how much I want you guys to come out.
Hey, there we
Come
go.
out, man.
I like it.
There it
we
is.
got 150 out there. What's up?
150
Otherwise,
into
it's
the
gonna be
pot.
free
Come
money
through,
for
man.
Blanca, bro.
Hey, bro, he said Georgia shouldn't be losing to Blanca. Well, hey, y'all saying Georgia shouldn't be losing to Blanca, so it's your chance to, you know what I'm saying, dethrone the champ. Because guess what? When I'm doing the seeding, he's being seeded number 1. You're gonna have to hold
That's
that.
crazy, y'all. We got Alex at one.
He's being seeded number 1.
We got
Yo,
Alex at
you got Alex
To make
Dot
you
in the number
mad,
1
you
seed,
gotta
bro.
come out.
You gotta come out. You got to. You can't just be on your streams, man, all the time. Come out, man. Tell your viewers you'll be right back. You be all right. You can miss a day of streaming now. God dang. All right, no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. So
Don't,
on
don't, don't,
top, on
don't,
top
don't
of
take it the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way.
we
All
also,
right.
we have a brotherly scene as well in Alabama that has a tournament coming up on the 30th, if I'm not mistaken, which is this weekend. So I'm gonna try to roll up there. I don't know if Alex can make it or not, but I'm in the works trying to make it up there. So yo, go support that scene too, man. They religiously came out to our scene when Battle and Brew was out here. I mean, not Battle and Brew, Gwinnett Bro was out here and everything. So man, we have more tournaments. We just gotta travel a little bit, you know. It's nice to go out there and support them as well.
A big shout outs to the NCAA community out there. Shout outs to Egaman, Ryusuke, and the whole crew out there for holding it down for the NCAA scene out there in Bama. You know, holding them. They got their big event next week, like Knowledge said, on the 30th. So you know, on their social media, you guys can follow them. Gosh, I don't have their exact name, but you know, what I'm saying, if actually, you know what? Let me find that, because I gotta put some respect on their name, man, because they out here making sure that their FGC is good out there, man. And yeah, we gotta make sure these events get these players out here. And you said knowledge may roll up. You say you may roll up out there.
Yeah. Not knowledge might make it roll up, right? Because yeah, I didn't like how it ended last time.
Okay.
So we got to keep going until we take it. You know, we got to make them
Okay.
come down here. So
Yeah. So you follow them at NCAA Live FGC on Twitter. A new challenger approaching FGC. That's what it stands for. So again, guys, please, if you're in the Bama scene or the Georgia scene, you guys want to scope out a tournament for next Saturday. There's your event right there. There's an event. It's all the information is going to be on their Twitter page, so you should be able to find that. So retro, you got anything you want to say to the good people?
No, definitely shout outs to. Well, first, thank you, shout out Ace for hosting this awesome podcast series on episode 6. We made it this far. Hope loving, looking forward to see more. Thank you, Alex and KnowledgeReUp for being solid pioneers of Street Fighter players and TO. And overall, supportive people in the community. It's as far as especially Alex being new generation to kind of continue on the legacy. But shouts to the Papa Alex for being a legend. Hopefully I'll see this man in action because that's dope. Um,
That is dope. That is
yeah,
extra dope.
but also no, that said doesn't go out for Nas Re-Up. Continue to be a solid camera player. I still try to watch and support you as well. So thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much for holding it down on that end. So, but yeah. Also, I said shout outs to the rest of the Georgia scene. Shout outs to Savannah, Coastal Conquerors for holding it down. Shout outs to Augusta. Shout outs to Tifton. Of course, ATL 404 Esports Data. Looking forward to you guys back in action on May 7th, 8th, I believe. That was the dates.
Mesa. Mhm.
Okay, looking forward to y'all guys seeing action. Shout out to Spike Out Nerds, the people I'm part of for the Mill Georgia scene. Shout out to Reboot, and definitely come down on May 14th for our tournament. If you're close in our area and you don't feel like traveling out, but if you're in Atlanta, please go to the one more round of Street Fighter V. Support it if you can. Do your very best to take out Alex Dot Dot. He's the current champion, King of the Hill at the moment. Um, next week. Oh no, this Saturday actually. Um, for those who are more anime, King Fighters, and other games players, so Zone Breakers has a IHOP tournament in Fayetteville. Once again, they're gonna try to do it every last Saturday each month. So if you're in that area or you want to travel and get some pancakes and play some games, you go there. So definitely shout out and support them as well. Yeah, and that's all I have on my end.
All right, yo, appreciate those announcements, Sir Retro. There you guys have it. So, man, yo, I don't want to hear nobody saying that there's no tournaments offline over here because it look like it's on and popping out here, man. We're coming up to the summertime again. People are getting out of school, so they have a little bit more freedom and creativity to come out here and compete before they have to go back in. So you definitely are going to see more players, especially of the younger variety, come through and try to hold their own, and we could have future. It could be the next Knowledge Re-Up, it could be the next Alice Dot Dot, it could be the next Sir Retro, it could be the next you at home listening to this player. You know what I'm saying? Listening. So definitely, guys. Just remember, man. You want to try to make sure your TOs are appreciated for running these events and putting everything together for you, giving you a place to play to foster your growth. Because believe it or not, there are states and areas that may not have the same opportunities to. There are players out there that be like, man, I wish our state could do this, that, and the third, and all it takes is for one or three people to, collaborate on an idea to put something together. So definitely be grateful for your scene. Be grateful for your tournaments that are being ran. It's your boy ShadowAce, holding it down on the podcast with my illustrious co-host, Sir Retro. And episode 6, man. Episode 6 was dope,
Mm-hmm.
man. I appreciate you guys for coming
Indeed.
through and sharing your knowledge and dropping these words of wisdoms with us. We now know that Alex Dad has hands. You know what I'm saying? We now know that Knowledge Re-Up is about to go take home the gold in Bama real quick. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
We
we
out.
we appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. Where can the good people find you guys out there in the world? Knowledge.
Um, you can find me at home chilling. No, I'm just playing. But I when I do have time, I do stream. I can't even tell you my stream name. That's crazy, right? That's how long it's been since I streamed. But I believe it's just knowledge reading.
Just not, yeah, it's just Knowledge Re-Up, right? He's like, yo,
Yeah, it's just
you
knowledge
said see
reading
me
on
in KO
stream.
City.
Yeah, oh yeah, I it's a Street Fighter stream, so I ain't about to praise the game as much as, but if y'all want some relaxing times, go KLC, check that game out, it's free to play. But anyway, back to Street Fighter. Yeah, I'm on Twitch, man. I don't really be on Twitter as much. I need to actually get on that more. So a lot of stuff that be on that I be missing out on, but yeah, just catch my streams every now and then. I'm gonna try to get back to it.
All right. What about you, Alex? Dot dot. Where can the good people find you at?
If people want to find me, my name has always been the same for all social media. It's Alex underscore dot dot for Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Uh, yeah, I just like to keep it pretty straightforward and simple. Um, Kirk and Shadow, thanks for having me, man. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what's up, man. And again, if you guys want to join in on the future podcast, we're always looking for people. Just hit us up, man. Hit up SirRetro, hit up me. On social media at Mind of Shadow Ace. You can send me a message or send SirRetro a message as well on this particular platform and on his Twitter too as well. SirRetro, what are your social medias like? Where can the good folks find you at again?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. Of course, on Twitter, Instagram, SirRetro08. And of course, I'm also on Facebook. For those who know my actual name, of course, not, and also on Discord as well. Same thing. And of course, here on Twitch.tv/Sir underscore Retro08. But also too, let you know that the video, this episode will be archive and the Reboot Retrocade Gaming YouTube page. So definitely go to that site. Hopefully, we'll be up and ready by tomorrow, if not tonight. But yeah, thank you so much.
For sure, man. If you guys want to check out the previous episodes, all of that can be found there. They're perfect for when you're doing a workout, man. When you got the workout going, you'll throw the podcast on real quick. Listen to a good 2 hour workout session. That's gonna take you through a good workout session, man. So, or you doing some chores or whatever you have to do, a good 2 hours will definitely help you get by checking out the podcast. So far as for episode 7, again, we have been getting requests from other state scenes to talk to their players out there, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, man. I mean, we don't mind doing that, but we want to try to get the Georgia people on first. And then season 2, we'll definitely look out to speak to other scenes and see how it goes down out there as well. So again, folks, we're going to try to reach out to a few more Georgia players before we make the announcement about branching out to other state scenes. So stay tuned. We're not ignoring your request. We just need to make sure our Georgia heads over here get heard first. And again, if you guys are interested in the Georgia scene, you guys want to come through on the podcast, please feel free to reach out to us and just let us know before we dive in and get started on season 2 with other state scenes. But with that being said, I'm out the door. GG's. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate you, Alice. Appreciate you, Knowledge Re-Up. Appreciate you, Sir Retro. And you guys have a good night.